everybody. Testing, testing. Can everybody hear me so far? If you can, thumbs up on the chat. Hello, hello. Bonjour. Hola a todos. Hello. Bonsoir. Can you guys hear me? Can everybody hear me good? Is the music okay? Or am I louder than the music? It's technically how it should be. Your cookie! Your cookie was here. Cookies are good. Cookies are wonderful. Awesome! Excellent! Well, hello everybody, all wonderful envoys of Gaia. I hope you guys had a wonderful week so far. And happy weekend, may I say, if you're already done with work, college, school, or just, having a lazy day, just being more lazy. It is a pleasure to be here with you guys today. Welcome to our adventure of Little Red Riding Hood. And of course, the presentation of Red Riding Hood's Eidolon as well. Hello from Germany, hello! Excellent, I see thumbs, perfection. Well, for those of you who do not know me, I am the random person who has showcased herself today for you guys, but I am one of the social media managers for Gamigo. My name is Kinsiel. I also happen to be Lotus's one and only wife. Woohoo! That's my my lot in life. Ooh, from the Netherlands. Hello. Oh, do you want me to be louder? I'm sorry. My voice is a little crackly, so I might have to be like get close to my microphone. But yes, it is a pleasure to be here with you guys today. I am excited to actually read the, I must say, quite wonderful but also crazy story of Little Red Riding Hood that you all put together. It was very fun to read, very fun to put together, and it was just overall quite the adventure just reading it on its own. I definitely want Oreo cookies and cream ice cream, if you know. But I digress. We'll talk about cake and cookies later. Today, it's all about Red Riding Hood. If you guys are around in the game, you guys should come and join us by the fountain. As you can see, we're just sitting there. My tiny little chibi lady who is sitting there, and Lotus is like jumping right on top of me, it seems. It's called Story Time, and we are there presenting the beauty of Red Riding Hood, as well as, she's very tiny, and there's an Eidolon that is totally covering her right now, but she's by the tree. She's in super chibi mode. Of course, we have Cerberus, and Lotus loves me so much she decided to bring a character that kind of has an anime representation of me. She likes to say I sound like anime a lot, so she just wanted to put me there and display me for the world, so it's wonderful. I wish I could give you guys cookies. I will give you the cookies from my heart, just like just have all the wonderful ones. But so we're going to be reading the Little Red Riding Hood's adventure today. I'm gonna move this right here so I can actually look at this properly. We definitely asked you guys to follow a certain type of game for it, as in somebody wrote something, you guys had to continue it instead of you guys starting from scratch and just continue for what we wrote. And of course you guys delivered. We collected all of the storytelling and we're presenting it today, and then we're going to do a raffle at the end of the stream to actually give you guys a Little Red Riding Hood Eidolon key and some fragments. There's also going to be 10,000 ruby coins that we're going to be giving, mana star stones, some vouchers of 5,000, 50 a superior weapon fortification, 25 weapon fortifications, and 30 order weapon fortification as well. Obviously, only one person is going to actually get the key fragment for Red Riding Hood, but you guys should definitely keep your eyes open, because you might have other ways of getting this Eidolon not so far from today. So keep your eyes up for all the social medias and Discord. goodies, 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 goodies are coming your way. However, come and sit with us by the fountain. It's story time. Darkness covers the forest path. Let the howls guide your red lips. Let your strength guide you through the mist. May you find what you're looking for in the end of this journey. So, without further ado, let's get to story time. Let me get comfy here. Voila! C'est magnifique. All the cookies, all the cookies. Let me bring my music a little bit lower, so that way, if something happens, you know, you guys can actually listen properly. Okay, let's go. Once upon a time, there was a fair and, just a little Red Riding Hood who always wore the red wolf hood, which was a birthday present from her grandmother. One day, she set out on a perilous journey to become a hunter to save the forest from the encroaching darkness. One day, Little Red Riding Hood was on a routine hunt in the forest when she heard a strange noise. Upon investigating, she found Hansel and Gretel lost in the forest. They were lost and hungry, and Little Red Riding Hood kindly gave them some food because, she always had cookies on her basket. Suddenly, they heard a noise coming from the depths of the forest. They were horrified to see, and this is where you guys come in, a spitting image of Little Red Riding Hood herself, but a little different. Black hood rather than red, malevolent rather than benevolent aura. And the most horrifying sight of all is the sight of a gigantic wolf lying prone on the ground, seen impaled with a short sword on the back of his lifeless head. Ooh, so dark, you guys, so dark. The sad person just stands there and suddenly looked at the direction of the three. The mysterious being smiles with a menacing tone, says the words, "I finally found you." This elicited a blood-curdling scream from the trio. They ran. It followed them. What is this being, they wonder? An enemy? Loki's ally? As they ran, everything started to dim. Light was disappearing, too dark to see. Then they felt it, an overwhelming feeling of fear. They heard a low, guttural sound. It was close. And then it sang, "Three blind mice, see how they run." It paused to their doom. The figure disappeared. The surroundings went back to normal, as if nothing had ever happened. Hansel and Gretel said, "What happened?" Little Red Riding Hood, "An illusion or a warning, no doubt." Hansel, "Surely we shouldn't stay here anyway. We should go." Red Hood now had enemies. But why is this person going after her? Is this Cerberus, who sends minions to stop the killing of wolves that Red Hood has been doing for years? Hansel, "Surely we shouldn't stay here, so, we should finally, let's just go." They continued their road. Finally, they found a house deep in the woods. Little Red Riding Hood says, "A house! We can sleep here. What do you think, Hansel and Gretel?" They look inside the house and they find that it's perfect. Red Hood says, "There is food. I will prepare a meal with this. Can you go out and make sure the area is safe, please?" Hansel and Gretel agreed. They go out to see. Red Hood was preparing the meal, but about 10 minutes later, Hansel and Gretel came back, frightened. "We must leave this place, quickly!" What had they seen that made them so frightened? Hansel, Gretel, and Red Hood managed to escape from the house. They arrived at a waterfall near a beautiful forest, and the three of them went to investigate the place. Red Hood was enchanted by the sight of this waterfall, but when she turned around, she couldn't find Hansel and Gretel. The two of them also realized that they lost track of Little Red Riding Hood and decided to go looking for her to continue exploring this beautiful place. Hansel and Gretel began to look for Red Riding Hood, a little nervous because it was getting late, and although it was beautiful, they had recently seen a figure of a man who had a voice from the one of the dream they shared. He was talking to a boy, something about having to capture a girl and to get her for all her untapped power. Of course, the first thing they thought they were talking about their little friend, the Little Red Riding Hood. And at that very moment, the man stopped, tells the boy to be quiet. Someone is here. You must eliminate them, or everything will be ruined. Hansel and Gretel panicked, imagining their friend Red Hood in danger, and immediately ran out screaming desperately, Little Red Riding Hood! Little Red Riding Hood! Where are you? Finally arriving to a cliff, they could hear screams in the distance. Perhaps it was the mysterious man. Oh, Red Riding Hood, please be safe. Earth starts trembling. Dust clouds from the east makes a crimson sun. Red Hood grabs Hansel and Gretel, hiding them behind a big rock, and turns to them, shh, drawing her staff ready for battle. Suddenly, a shape on a motorbike stops near them. Hope that cows didn't scare you. I moved them far from the new demon wolves. Then Little Red Riding Hood notices that this person is a familiar shape. Grandma? What? How? Why? The familiar faces smiles. You're never too old for an adventure, dear. The old lady looks on the kids. Are they in trouble? Is it demons? Hansel nods. The old lady turns her attention to where the screams are coming from. She revs her bike and holds a big flaming axe. Well, dear, hope they like to fight in a group. Let's go. As she starts walking away from everybody, Little Red Riding Hood just stands there. Grandma, what are you doing? Little Red Riding Hood, surprised by all of these events, looks at Hansel and Gretel, who are also confused by what is happening right now. His grandma just comes out of nowhere. There's demons appearing. Something is chasing them. But she suddenly lowered her guard to see Ayako and Cerberus had no intention of doing any harm to them. She kindly approached them and introduced herself, and she also introduced Hansel and Gretel. Little Red Riding Hood apologized to Ayako for having interrupted their race and began to tell her about all the events that they had previously experienced together. So all the noises was just Ayako and Cerberus playing and having a friendly race between each other. While telling them what had happened so far, they got hungry. So Red Riding Hood pulled some cookies out of her pack and passed them around. Ayako says, so you're on a journey to become a hunter and save the forest, and those twins are along for the ride? Red Riding Hood says, yeah. But we got separated, and then attacked by demons, and then saved by my grandma. Ayako says, what's a grandma? Is that food? Ayako heard all of the adventures of our dear Red Riding Hood's group and laughed while eating her cookies. This happened to you in such a short time. I'm impressed by such bad luck, Ayako said with a smile. Little Red Riding Hood started laughing when she saw Ayako's amused expression when she heard her adventures. So she approached her and took her hands and with enthusiastic eyes asked her if she wanted to join her group to share her adventures with them. Ayako, with a confused face, did not understand anything of what Little Red Riding Hood was telling her. However, Hansel, desperate to continue his journey, pulled Ayako by the hand and told her, you just come with us. I assure you, it'll be fun. As soon as Hansel said that, Cerberus made an anxious face. Not to ruin your good time, but I saw something recently that made my hair stand. I think it was the rumor envoy from Cube of Gaia, exclaimed Cerberus. The air became thick. Would one of them have to abandon his friends to accompany a weak human? What good was that? So Little Red Riding Hood made the decision. I will go. Everyone was surprised, and they were also sad. They couldn't believe it. They had just met, and they were already going to be separated. But Cerberus, the most mature of them all, understood and said, okay, for my part, I will give you a wolf-stuffed animal, so you'll always remember me. But we will stand by you and protect you until anything else happens. Suddenly, Sario, the goddess of lightning, appeared in front of everyone, causing worry and curiosity. She suddenly began to attack with her spear, and Little Red Riding Hood shouted, "Run! The forest is not safe. I will stay and distract her. Now run to a nearby village." Hansel and Gretel, scared, began to move away from the place, thinking, if Little Red Riding Hood will be okay alone, or should we stand and fight? Suddenly, Cereal once again used her lightning ability against Little Red Riding Hood. Without being able to ration in time, just at that moment, a big wolf covered in fire appeared to protect Little Red Riding Hood, ending this battle in grief. Cerberus wrote, shout, Little Red Riding Hood. She cried. The big wolf slowly turned into the human form of himself, severely wounded and without motion or a sign of life. How could you? Little Red Riding Hood was sad and angry. But there was another feeling that was overwhelming her. It was wrath. Little Red Riding Hood felt an unbendable power flowing through her body. But from behind her, she heard an anxious Hansel whispering. What did he whisper? We do not know. But it's too late, as Red Riding Hood only sees one color in her mind, and that is red. Red with anger and wrath. Just right as she raises her weapon to charge forward, a warm hand covers her eyes and blocks her vision. It's okay. Calm yourself, said the familiar voice. But she clearly saw him, with a sigh, as if the owner of that voice was reading her mind. I'm not dead yet. This kind of wound is not fatal on me. Do you think me so weak to fall after one hit? If I was ever in danger, Ayako would have stepped forward to help me. But right now, she's just standing there, doing Ayako-like things. Ayako is Ayako, said Ayako, beaming from Cerberus' side. The red color faded from her eyes. Abruptly, Red Riding Hood realized that she was about to attack someone out of anger. Another emotion swelled up inside of her. Was she always this easy to provoke? Where is this blinding anger that almost completely swallowed her comes from? Something is wrong. A voice sounded in her head and spoke to her. You are so weak. Little Red Riding Hood froze when she realized that it was the voice of the evil god Loki. She became frightened and looked around with a fearful expression. Ayako asked if everything was alright, and while Little Red Riding Hood was answering, Loki appeared among the trees, and she fell in fright. She pointed her finger between the trees and stammered, There's Loki! And the others looked confused and saw nothing. Little Red Riding Hood directly knew that only Gaia's envoy could help her in defeating Loki. She wrapped the others and turned, running away as fast as she could. The others stumbled along, confused and worried. But could she flee? What if Loki was already inside her head and didn't need to follow her physically? Would she be able to withstand him mentally? And how would she find the envoy? She needed to find a Templar as soon as possible. Maybe they could help her. Little Red Riding Hood started to run back to Nevea in a panic to find a Templar. But she kept being delayed because she was afraid that Loki was lurking behind every corner. Ayako also didn't help much. She kept delaying the group by insisting on eating everything that looked tasty on the way over there, so they had to stop quite a few times. For Ayako, many things looked tasty, so it took a while to get back to Nevea. Night was falling when the group finally arrived, but the streets were still brimming with life, allowing them to easily blend in with the crowd. To hide from Loki, who without a doubt was still following them. Being the tallest of the group, Cerberus led the way, and soon they were talking to not just any Templar, but their commander, Andre, who promised to schedule an appointment with the Grand Bishop Ima for the next morning. This night, nightmares haunted Red Hood's sleep. There were some whispers. She can't. She will never know. Footsteps were coming closer. And then wake up! Wake up! I'm hungry, says Ayako, who doesn't stop teasing her. She looks in her basket and gives her some apples. While they're all eating, Andrew returns. He's going to guide them to the Great Bishop. The great doors open, and suddenly, A light of 1,000 colors came and guided them to Ima. Little Red Riding Hood was no longer afraid. She felt protected by her side, but she knew that he was still out there waiting for her. With this thought, she told Ima about their misadventures with Loki. Ima looked at her for a long time, then turned to Andre and asked him to prepare the room. Then she took the group to a large table in the middle, filled with food, and left. Little Red Riding Hood's stomach roared. I suppose it's been a long journey. Everybody has been eating except her. Ayako pretty much just ate everything from her basket. The feast was delicious, but the mood was still slumber. In contrast to the bustling dining hall, they knew that Loki was currently terrorizing Asuria and they needed to act fast. After the feast, Andrew escorted them to a large tower. The Sky Tower may have a relic that can aid you. Talk to Barry, Andrew explained. They quickly walked over to the Sky Tower Guardian, eager to learn more. You have done well to seek me, Little Red Riding Hood, Barry said, as he wrote map directions on a piece of paper. You will find what you seek in floor 60 of Sky Tower. But first, you must complete all sorts of challenges. Some of these challenges require group work. You must find good friends willing to brave the tower with you if you are to be successful. Are you up for the challenge? Little Red Riding Hood thought of all the friends she had made during her journey in Asuria. Who should she invite to aid her in this quest? Who will answer the call to fight alongside her? Also, what should she make for dinner? She realized she was hungry again. As the young lady wondered, thinking about dinner, more about dinner than her new task, she went by a stall selling baked goods. Excuse me, Victoria nearly bumped into Little Red Riding Hood as she tried to walk with her arms full of delicious treats. Oh, excuse me, miss. May I help you with that? Maybe she'll get some sort of delicious reward for helping this night out. Delicious rewards from Victoria. Wait, no. It's this darkness again. Why? The frightened Little Red Riding Hood fell on her knees, then a voice echoed. 3 blind mice, the dark figure points at Red Riding Hood. Run to their doom. The dark figure pointed up. As Red Riding Hood looked up, she sees the Sky Tower. What do you mean? Before she can finish her words, she sees the mysterious figure in tears. Dumbfounded with what everything means, everything suddenly went back to normal. But this time, Little Red Riding Hood will not stay calm until she finds out what is in the tower. So she decides to visit the great Garuda, master of the heavens, and ask him if he has any idea about the meaning of the visions or if he could help her to find the tower. So Little Red Hood decides to visit Great Garuda before the gloomy clouds veil the sky. When she enters where the Great Garuda resided, Garuda's breath soothes her greatly, and the gentle breeze created by its golden wings purifies the minds of futile thoughts. As Garuda already knows who's behind the mysterious figure in Red Hood's vision and its true purpose, Garuda warned Little Red Riding Hood after she found what she seeks at the 60th floor. She must flee immediately, or else the unbearable dangers will follow. After this warning, Garuda gave Little Red Riding Hood some advice. You must be prepared. Climbing to the 60th floor of the tower is really dangerous. You may have to fight to reach what you seek. Once you get the relic, you must find Eternia, the goddess of time. Her incredible knowledge will help you to know how to use the relic and to understand the meaning of your visions. Maybe the situation happened before. Only she can tell you. After speaking words of wisdom, Garuda proposed Little Red Hood to take her to the Sky Tower. Nobody's faster than me. I'll get you there in a sec. Suddenly, they began to feel a great tremor beneath their feet, and large gray clouds began to take over the sky. But that did not stop them from going ahead, and they ignored the trembling, as they were determined to face land and sea, to reach the 60th floor of the tower. For a moment, everything was silent. However, that did not last long. Garuda stopped and stepped back just a little bit when he saw that lightning was falling, and next to them from the clouds, The astral dragon was coming down to prevent them from reaching their destination. This time, as the crumbling dark sky ready to strike in a moment, Garuda stepped back and landed Red Hood and the others at the 57th floor of the tower. Go on ahead and reach what you seek. I'll hold this creature as soon as I can. During the clash between Garuda and the astral dragon, Garuda was completely exhausted, and the astral dragon had been severely injured. Garuda used his forbidding ability to seal the beast, using his soul force before he completely drained and fell from the sky. As a result, Garuda lost his memory, and he will be reborn as a mortal envoy. Thus the astral dragon fell and slowly froze into the Demon King's fantasies. When they realized that the astral dragon was defeated, they started to cheer and seek Garuda. They came down from the tower to find the friendly kid's friend. Well, Garuda. They didn't find him. At that moment, a strange portal started to open in front of them. A doppelganger of Little Red Riding Hood stood there. Little Red Riding Hood saw her shadow changing into the shape of a wolf. As she reached out to feel her face, her sharp claws nicked her cheek, drawing a thin line of blood. What? She cried out of shock, staring down at her hands, which have elongated into claws. Tremors overtook her body as she felt her chest throb with each heartbeat. Why is this happening? She questions in fear. Little Red Riding Hood starts to lose her senses as a human. Before fully turning into a wolf, she sees Grand Bishop Belinas. Help me, please, she shrieks. Grand Bishop Belinas stood there in horror. In the end, Little Red Riding Hood transformed into the big bad wolf. She can't comprehend who the Grand Bishop is and slowly starts to creep out on him. Little Red Riding Hood now has an urge to devour the Grand Bishop. The Grand Bishop came to his senses and acted quickly to try and stop Little Red Riding Hood and trapped her inside a barrier. However, the wolf was too fast for the old man. Jumping around while avoiding his spells and suddenly lunged towards the poor Belinas as he was kneeling to the ground from exhaustion. All seemed lost as the wolf was about to feast on the helpless bishop when suddenly arrows rained out of nowhere and drove Red Riding Hood away. Don't worry, Red. One way or another, I will save you from this curse, said the storm huntress Yumikase, and she walked by a collapsed bishop. Then the wolf suddenly turned tail and went straight for the woods, and the huntress followed in Red's track. Oh yeah, it's getting there. We're getting there. When she heard Stormy Yumikaze's voice, Red Riding Hood stopped her running, and once she glared at the huntress with envy and admiration. Oh my, how long is your bow? Is to save you better, my cutie. How powerful you look. Is to defend you always, my cutie. How far your arrows reach. Is to kill more enemies for you, my love. Now, let me show you something. Yumikase shot an evil cursed tanuki with her arrows. Little Red Riding Hood, why did you do that, Yumi? I did it to save you, my dear. Well, thanks, I guess. Anyway, it should have died if I didn't shoot it. Now the tanuki will rest in peace, Little Red Riding Hood says. So, who do you think cursed the tanuki? I don't know, says Yumi, but we will find out. In that moment, the sky turned purple, and suddenly there were various howls that echoed through the forest. The sound of paws pounding against the dirt became louder and louder, and shrubs began to rustle. Little Red Riding Hood began to tremble. What was coming now to her from the forest? She closed her eyes, and just when she thought her end had come, she cried out one last time. Why are you screaming like that? You're scaring my wolves! She opened her eyes and looked at Cerberus with his wolves. You again? Why are you trampling so loudly in the forest? I thought something was coming to eat me. No thanks. Ew, You're not tasty to us anyway. What's that supposed to mean? Obviously, every time the story ends with gastric disorders, I'm literally so sick of it. Oh, my dear, then allow me to take thee to the Demarec mines. What on earth for? To get thee some miracle plum juice. Thee shall trust me. Without further ado, the two heroes set off on their journey to the Demarec mines. And at their destination, Little Red Riding Hood sees again the mysterious figure that has been haunting her from the start. She fell to her knees and almost in tears again, but she realized that she wasn't alone. Cerberus! Yumikase! Help! Shoot her! Little Red Riding Hood points at the figure. Shoot who? What? A perplexed Yumikase asked. You can't see her? She said with despair. The mysterious figure then approached Little Red Riding Hood and whispered her, Do not forget what you did, you monster. Little Red Riding Hood snapped back to reality and realized she has now fully grown into a werewolf. She sees a rather hostile Cerberus facing her, and not only that, she feels something, an unconscious Yumikase being held at her right paw. She was shocked and confused. What just happened? What did I do? She shouted at Cerberus, only to realize that even her voice changed. She glanced back to the unconscious Yumikase, now laying on the ground. Lucky, she didn't have any deep wounds. But tears started to fill Little Red Riding Hood's eyes. She was no longer who she used to be. And that is the end of her story. Or at least where you guys left it. And that is the end of a precious little girl who went from a huntress to a victim to a wolf. Excellent. It was dramatic. It was adventurous. It was horror. It was like you guys took all the genres in the world and put them together in one story. And it was glorious. Glorious, I tell you guys. It was amazing. Very, very well done, everybody. I applaud you. Did I scare anyone with my dramatic reading? Did I make everybody like jump? I know I was loud a few times. I just wanted to see if I could give you guys a dramatic effect. You know. Reading can be quite a lot of fun. Yes, you were at the edge of your seat. Yes, horror story ending. Yes, your brain just. I know. Isn't it wonderful? You guys have such wonderful imaginations. You're all very, very creative. Now tell me, since we finished the story, do you guys would like to see events like this more in the future? Do you guys want the ability to write more stories? Thank you. I'm glad that I did scare a few of you guys. That's wonderful. That brings me joy. I did my job well. My job has been done. Okay. Now, before we get to the raffle, let's have a quick look of how Little Red Riding Hood will look as your very next companion, your brand new Eidolon. Let's see it up. All right. Alrighty, so now you guys got your very own glimpse of Red Riding Hood, how she looks, how completely amazing and totally bad she is with her awesome gigantic gun, 3 times bigger than her, and of course, her super loyal, fluffy wolf companion. Now, it is raffle time. It is raffle time. So, one of you guys will be lucky enough to actually get her as a as a key. There's, I believe, also fragments that are going to be given around, but this is how you guys will be able to enter this raffle. If you want to win her key, you must answer one question. Everybody listen. It's going to be written in the chat as well. Lotus will give it to you guys, but I will say first and then she will write it. What is the name of Red Hood's giant wolf dog? Does anybody know? What is the name of Little Red Riding Hood's giant wolf dog plushie? What is the name? You must write it in the chat for Lotus to actually take you, because she is the one that is going to send the key to the lucky winner. But you must write it. You must answer the question. No answer, no raffle. Also, don't forget what Lotus just write. You need to also write your in-game name and your server. It's not just Wolfie name. Your name too. Alright, you guys are very close, but the name you guys are writing, it's not actually his name. It does start with a B though, but it's more like a R. Brr. it's a bar. 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 Sladdy. Yes. Sladdy got it right. Jan also got it right. Lally. Lally. You don't count. Bar. Yes, that's his name is Bar. Yes, yes, yes. Oh. Oh. I I am rather curious. Everybody that was writing like bear almost in an interesting way of writing it. Where did you guys got it like that? Where did you read that somewhere? Because that was not actually his name, but I'm rather curious where you guys saw that. Don't be sad, Lally. Don't be sad. Mm, it was on Aura Kingdom DB. Really? I had to like cheat out. Well, you guys are fairly close. Very, very close. But it's bar. So... Huh? But it's Branquelo. Oh, Branquelo. Bar. mm. Well, Lotus is already picking everybody's name, and she will actually provide the winner via Discord, I'm assuming. Yes, Lotus? Is that how it's going to be made? You're grabbing everybody's name, and then you're going to give them goodies. The goodies over there. The goodies, goodies, goodies. But before I conclude today's shenanigans, while we are indeed giving one key today, there's also going to be something happening through the weekend. As I mentioned, there's actually going to be another raffle coming up. Oh yes, that is straight up for Aura Kingdom, and is going to have major goodies for you guys. But it is not in Facebook, it is not in Twitter, it is not in Instagram. It's actually on a brand new TikTok. So if you guys want to have another chance to win Little Red Riding Hood as your own personal Eidolon or some of her fragments, you must go and follow our TikTok to actually be able to participate. So if you have one of those, you should totally get the Gimme Games TikTok. If you can provide me with the link, Lotus, my dear wifey of the heavens, and you can like drop it there so everybody here can go and give it a nice follow, that would be great. I would appreciate very much. Pretty please with a cherry on top. However, thank you so much everybody for actually coming around. Thank you so much as well for being part of this event and making it as fun. We will do our best to bring more in the future, perhaps more about Eidolons, maybe something completely else. Maybe you guys can even give us feedback on what exactly you would like to see a story form where you guys get to be creative. So we will make sure to keep that up in Discord. So make sure you let Lotus and Minore know what's the next story you guys want to see, and we will make sure to come back here and do another dramatic reading. I will do my best to scare you. You will totally enjoy it. We will continue this wonderful relationship. But I hope each one of you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. The winners are going to be announced on Discord, so please make sure to keep an eye there. Lotus and Minore will do it in the next couple of minutes after we go offline. Don't forget to check our TikTok. Lotus just posted the link there for you guys. Go give it a follow and keep your eyes out so you can participate in the next upcoming raffle. And we wish you all a wonderful weekend. We hope you enjoy a lot of comfortable times, and of course continue to stay safe and play our kingdom. And thank you so much for your love and support. We look forward to seeing you guys very, very soon. So stay awesome, stay epic, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Ciao everybody. Ciao, ciao, ciao.